Welcome to Lecture 2, Introduction to ChatGPT and Language Learning Models. I'm sure a lot of you have a general understanding of what ChatGPT and how it works. But very quickly, it's essentially a really intelligent conversational tool. So you can converse with it, ask it questions, tell it to generate certain responses, outputs, a list, a table, an essay, a paragraph, an email, different ideas, whatever it is. You can input information, questions, context, data, and it will give a response based on that request. It uses something called the Common Crawl, which is a massive data set of information regarding books, Wikipedia articles, blog posts, websites, and it's like a snapshot of all of the internet's information alongside some other resources to give ChatGPT its foundational knowledge to then reference when you make those requests, or what are called prompts. A language learning model is essentially a descriptor that breaks down the science behind how ChatGPT takes the input, selects certain words from that input, and then based on the weighting of those words, is then able to figure out the request. Because it's not reading the entire paragraph, it's selecting key things which are important for it to then generate a relevant and personalized response on. I thought one of the best ways to kind of frame the power of ChatGPT is to do a comparison between Google for certain tasks and activities. Because Google has been the method and the approach that a lot of us have been using for finding information, for learning new things, for gathering data and references and resources. But ChatGPT is a whole different way to do that. So firstly, personalization. ChatGPT can tailor its responses and recommendations to you based on your input. You can't do that with Google. You can't ask Google, give me a list of restaurant ideas for the specific location. I have X, Y, and Z preferences in food, and I'm looking to only spend $50, for dinner. You can ask it what restaurants are in the area, and it will give you some suggestions, and then you've got to distill that down. ChatGPT takes this a step further and is able to understand really how to break down that request and give you a relevant and structured answer in the best format possible. There are some things it won't be able to do in terms of taking some information from websites, like it may not know where to look for a specific menu item, but it'll give you its best possible answer based on the data set it has, and most of the time the answers are incredibly accurate and helpful. Secondly, it's ease of use. I have it up on the screen here. There's a text box and you type in a question and immediately within seconds it's providing a response. So that interface is incredibly easy to pick up, to get in right away, and it's just like any other messaging app you would use, Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp, SMS. So for non-technical people, you can dive in and there's no technical jargon, buttons, dials, search bars, anything that is going to confuse you as to what the user experience and how the user interface is and works. Secondly, it's contextual understanding. So you can provide it context. You can say, review this email, review this list, review this paragraph, and provide me suggestions or recommendations to achieve X, Y, and Z goal. That's incredible. I haven't seen a model where you're able to paste in a series of information or even a web link and ask it to break down the key concepts and then recommend some type of strategy or idea based on the context it's being fed. And you simply, again, cannot do that with Google. You can't paste in an email and say, analyze this and give me recommendations for how to write a response that argues this point. Assistance with decision making, so kind of similar to the previous point. If you have a decision that needs to be made, you can provide it that context, or you can simply ask it, here's the situation I'm in. What do you recommend based on your experience with X, Y, and Z? Or you can frame it so it becomes an experienced domain consultant. Pretend you are X. And we'll get into persona design and implementing personas in ChatGPT further on. But again, you just can't do that with Google. Time savings is a pretty straightforward one. You don't have to trawl through a series of web pages and find the information you need. It's extracting that out for you and delivering it in a format and in a context that you can understand, digest, and move forward with. Lastly, explaining ChatGPT to other people. I won't labor on this one, but it's a search engine across a reference library, across a personal assistant, across a conversational partner. You're able to make the same sort of requests in Google, but it has a larger library to reference from. The analogy I've been using is Google is kind of like going up to a librarian and saying, what books do you have on gardening? And he or she will suggest some books, and you'll go up to the book, read it, and then you extract the information out. But with a chatbot like ChatGPT, it's as if you're speaking to the domain expert. So instead of going up to the librarian and asking the question on what books you have on gardening, it's like you're speaking to the author of the gardening book. And this is so efficient. For someone who implements a lot of tools that help save time, this is a game changer. So time saving is a huge one. And lastly, some exciting analogies that are fun to use when explaining it to other people. I've just listed a couple here. ChatGPT is like a supercomputer for your brain. It's a virtual genie at your fingertips. It's like a digital sommelier, able to recommend the perfect information or ideas for any occasion. And it's a personal AI assistant. So I hope that gives you a good introduction into what ChatGPT is, how it works, how to explain it, and how to engage with it. Looking forward to seeing you in the next lecture regarding tips for success and getting the most out of the tool at a deeper level.